and they need to die, and they're a plague, and yada yada yada. And a couple of tanks got into a firefight, and the Russian tank got damaged and burned down. And basically the treads fell apart, but the engine kept running and they couldn't stop it. So the thing overheated, turned into a giant oven, and cooked the soldiers inside of it. And he could hear these guys dying in there. And when they finally went and opened up, this tank, and found the remains of these, 2 or 3 soldiers afterwards, and saw their bodies, and heard all the torment they went through, he was just like, holy shit, this isn't okay. Like, they are people. I've been looking at it wrong. And, I mean, like, yeah, anybody who, it doesn't matter what their political viewpoint is, whether they be liberal or conservative, if they look at other people as they are the enemy and stop considering them people, then it doesn't matter. I mean, any political party, any mindset, any value, yeah. And that's part of what I was getting at when I was saying, like, keep in mind respect, because I mean, I'm a big believer in you don't earn respect. You deserve respect right off the bat. It's something you get taken away if you I think everybody deserves respect as soon as you meet them. Now, there's a difference between respect and adoration, don't get me wrong. Like, a lot of people confuse the two. Like being respected means you're going to be pampered and whatever. No, that's not respect. That's adoration. That's a totally different animal. But just being respectful, being courteous, trying to be polite, trying to, every person, regardless of age, seniority, rank, it doesn't matter. They all deserve the same level of respect. And if they act like an asshole, then it gets taken away. It isn't, people say respect is something you earn. No, it definitely is not. It's something that is intrinsic, and it's something you lose. And so many people, it seems like, have lost track of that. You don't need to respect them because they're just a filthy something or other. No, it doesn't matter what it is. Somebody might be dumb. Somebody might have very bent opinions or have outdated values. And that still doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Maybe they'll change their mind one day. Maybe they won't. And honestly, in the end, it doesn't really matter what somebody believes. It matters what they act on, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Who gives a shit? Do I think it's dumb for somebody to associate with being a Nazi? Yeah. But honestly, if they say, yeah, I'm a Nazi, but they never go around, like, harassing people or being judgmental or anything else, because, let's face it, the original reason the Nazi Party was created, supposedly, was to combat communism. All this other stuff is stuff it picked up along the way. My point is, ditch the history lesson. If somebody labels themselves as such and then, doesn't hurt anybody or doesn't cause any trouble, then, yeah, they're dumb to use that sort of a label, but other than that, who gives a shit? Yeah, exactly. Like, certain people who are more aged, you need to be careful around because it's easier to break them. But that doesn't mean that they immediately deserve to be. If they're going to be a dickwad, they're going to be a dickwad. That's all there is to it. And that doesn't mean you should keep being nice to them just because they're old. No, I'm sorry. Call them on their shit and then say, act like a decent person or just, you know, fuck off. That's all there is to it. Man. Opportunity missed. Okay. Shit. Multi-stage boss. What am I doing? I don't know. Oh, damn it. Okay, so you have to pull it open and then keep up with it. Or face it, or something. You know, one of the people I lost a lot of respect for was actually, was it Roger Ebert? He had Siskel and Ebert. I can never remember who's who. He was the big guy. Yeah. If you don't like them, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's so close-minded. Especially for something that's, you know, a relatively new medium. And how many different forms of art there are. And suddenly he says that there'll never be art. I found out recently there was an interview with him at one point. I guess he'd played things with different games on the SNES, and he was making comments about how they're destructive, and they were sucking him in, and yada yada yada. And then it hit me. His big issue about them not being art wasn't that they aren't going to be art, or that they couldn't be. It was that he had a serious issue with game addiction and couldn't face facts that it was his problem, that he couldn't put down the controller and stop playing, so he just took the stance that they were evil. And when they started being called art, he wasn't okay with that. Oh, you jerk. Purple stuff. What does the purple do? I don't know, but I think it's bad. The way he was describing it was like he couldn't come to face the fact that the problem was with him, so he went and vilified video games and said that they're destructive to society, basically. And that is what I mean. Yeah. And it's like, not only is this really close-minded, you know, or I thought it was. Now it turns out that he's making excuses and you know, attacking this entire industry. Well, yeah, you know, and you do have people that can be film addicts. My ex has an ex-husband, and he lost his fucking job, supposedly, because he couldn't stop watching Pirates of the Caribbean when it came out. He went 5 days or 5 times in a row in one day and just didn't go to work. So he got fired. Whoops. That's a fucking problem. Right? I mean, anything can be addictive. Bottom line, it comes down to the person. Got it. I mean, music, I guess, isn't that bad because, well, I was going to say it isn't destructive. It can be, honestly. But that's irrelevant. It's something you can, you know, have and still do other things while you listen to it, so it's not nearly as bad. But, you know, if somebody obsesses over something and has it... I mean...